Welcome back to Sports by GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus. If you are just tuning in, we just did a breakdown of the Arizona Cardinals, their schedule, and their offseason. I gave them an A for their offseason. I had them going 5-12, mostly because of their super tough schedule that they have to go through. A brutal first 10 weeks. We also talked about Tua signing a brand new 4-year, $212.4 million deal, making him the third highest paid player in the NFL, only trailing Trevor Lawrence, who recently signed a deal, and Joe Burrow, inking him with the Dolphins for the long term. Interesting move there. I thought they would wait till next season. And we also talked about some of the trades that have happened so far as the MLB trade deadline, is just 4 days away. It's coming on us quick. We gotta be ready for all of that. But we're gonna finish off our show today, getting back into the MLB. It is Friday, and that means we have to do our MLB power rankings. So we're gonna do that in just a second. But before we do, remember, if you would like to be an even bigger part of the show than you already are, all you need to do is go to gsmcpodcast.net. Leave a tip or donation with a message in it. That message should pop up on the bottom of the screen for you, me, and everybody else around the world to see. If you do have a burning question about sports, anything at all that you would like to ask, go and throw that in the comments. Throw it in the chat. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. I appreciate every single one of you guys for sticking around, talking some sports with me here on a beautiful Friday afternoon. But like I was saying, we are going to get into our Friday MLB power rankings for you right here, updated just a couple minutes before our show here, as we like to wait for any kind of breaking news to do our power rankings here. As you see, even though it's been a little bit since we did it, it's largely the same. There's been a bunch of changes around the middle, but the bottom pretty much has been set, and the top has been pretty much the same for a while. We'll start at the bottom here. The White Sox sitting pretty at 30. They're almost on pace for the worst record in the modern era of baseball, which really is impressive. They might even unload some more talent with Garrett Crochet and Luis Robert Jr. being apparently on the trade block, although some reports recently have been saying guys like Crochet might not be traded. I have the Marlins here at 29. Not much to say about them other than that they're bad. They shed AJ Puck. Again, not something that's really going to throw them too off course, but they are getting ready for next season. Same thing with the Rockies. They climb a spot. They've passed the Marlins in the last couple weeks, so they take their spot at 28. The Athletics sit at 27, and they're an interesting team, right? They have guys like Brent Rooker, guys like Mason Miller that they can trade and get a little bit of a haul, or they can hold on to them. I'm excited to see what they get back for these guys if they do decide to hold on to them, but for now, the Athletics sit at 27 on the list. At 26, we have the Los Angeles Angels. They're getting Mike Trout back soon. That's a good thing. That's about it. That's going good for them. At 25, we have the Detroit Tigers, and the Tigers are interesting. Lots of reports, hey, maybe they could trade Scooball. They're not going to trade Scooball. They sit here at 25, but some people are saying if they have a bad week, maybe they do it, which I think would be a mistake unless they get like the mother load of a haul. 24, we have the Blue Jays. I do not like the Blue Jays. They're sitting here at 24. They have talent. They need to unload it now. I talked about that earlier on in the show. Blue Jays here at 24. My Washington Nationals drop a spot to 23. They're starting to sell, and this is a good thing. This is a good thing that they're selling. I can't wait for next season. That's all that matters right now. James Wood is up. He's hitting the ball 100 million miles an hour every single time he gets up to the plate. He's just hitting it right at people. So, maybe he elevates the ball a little bit. This is going to be a great, great team next season, maybe. Cubs climb one spot to 22. They said they're selling. Doesn't mean they're worse than the Nats. Sitting there at 22, I'm curious to see who they sell and how hard their selling is. Rays fall 4 spots to 21. They offload Randy Arozarena. They offload Zach Eflin. Rumors are they might trade Isaac Paredes as well as a couple of their other guys. This Rays team will find a way somehow. I'm sure they will. But for now, they're falling back down to 21, biggest fallers of the week. Reds sit at 20, comfortable spot. Same with Giants. Both of them are in a weird tier where I don't expect them to sell. The Giants, I think, should sell. The Reds, I think, might actually should maybe consider adding, but this is not the year for either of them. Paul Skeens and the Pirates sit here at 18. I might as well just change that label to Paul Skeens, the pitching staff, but they're just going to sit here slightly above the rest of the garbage heap there at 18. Diamondbacks at 17. They're going to get healthier. They added AJ Puck. This is a team that made it to the good. The team that beat them in the World Series sits here at 16. The Texas Rangers, they have slowly but surely started to heat up, and they're almost ahead of the Mariners. They're only a game and a half back last I looked. Speaking of the Mariners, they continue to slump. I love the pickup of Randy Arozarena. I love that pickup for them. Hopefully it's enough. They need to get the bats going if they want to make any kind of meaningful run this postseason. The Royals sit at 14. Bobby Witt might be the best player in all of baseball. He's not enough. They go and they get Hunter Harvey. They need some bullpen pitching. They need that pitching. Maybe they can get another bat to give the lineup a little more oomph than Bobby Witt and Salvi Perez, because they need just a little bit more to be serious threats for the playoffs. Cardinals at 13. They fall one spot as a result of the Mets. The Cardinals are doing everything they need to do. They're being an okay, above average team. They have a couple moves they can make. I think they might be quiet adders at the deadline. Nothing that's going to be too insane, but small adds at the deadline for a team like the Arizona Cardinals. The Red Sox fall one spot from 11 to 12. Again, nothing they're doing wrong. I like the addition of James Paxton that they get from the Dodgers. Getting starting pitching is huge. He was DFA'd, so good for the Dodgers to get anything back for him as well. But he's a valuable piece. He won 8 games. He has a solid ERA. Not going to light the world on fire, but a solid ERA. At 11, we have the Mets, the Grimace Mets, the Surging Mets. The Mets have a 700-plus win percentage since Grimace threw out the first pitch. That is insane to me. They have been the hottest team in baseball, maybe. Hottest or second hottest team, and we'll talk about why that is in just a little bit, but they've been so good. Francisco Lindor didn't make the All-Star game, getting MVP talk out in the NL. Maybe. Keep an eye on the Mets. I'm really curious how sustainable this is and if it's going to make them buyers at the deadline, which is kind of insane for me to say. At 10, we have the Braves. They drop 2 spots. Injuries. They still have Chris Sale, who might win the NL Cy Young, because of course he's going to, but losing your top 2 players, it's starting to show. They're starting to lose ground in an NL wildcard race that I thought they would have locked up. Now they're in danger of maybe even falling all the way out of it. The Padres I have at 9. They've just dismantled my Washington Nationals. For the second series in a row, when everything was going great, they run into the Padres, and the Padres destroy them, throwing a no-hitter. Congratulations to the Padres. Congratulations to Dylan Cease. His first career no-hitter. It wasn't fun to watch as a Nats fan, but it is one of those magical moments in MLB. Just the 324th time ever that has happened. They get their props. They're here in the top 10 at number 9. And then the other team in contention for the hottest team in baseball with the Mets, the Houston Astros. They make it up through the top 10 all the way up to number 8 on the list. The Houston Astros continue to win baseball games. They're getting healthier. They're getting their bats going. This is the Astros team that we saw that made it to 7 straight ALCS series. 7 straight is insane. A pseudo-dynastic run for them. They sit here at number 8. They are back on top of their division. Crazy that they were able to come back so quickly. The Brewers at 7, continuing to do their thing, have a nice comfortable lead. The loss of Christian Yelich might be a little worrying. I'm going to hold off on passing judgment on them. They stand pat at number 7. Same thing with the Twins. They are getting healthier, but healthier with the Twins doesn't tend to last. Their big stars are very, very injury prone, and I don't know how much I can trust them. They sit here at 6, outside of a top 5 that they've just been shuffling around with each other the entire time. The Yankees, Guardians, Dodgers, Orioles, and Phillies, those have been the clear-cut top 5 teams in baseball basically all season long. The Yankees stick at number 5. They've been kind of in a nosedive. They've been 10-20. They've been 10-20 over their last 30 games. Not very good at all. Not where you want to be. I do think this is a Yankees team that can turn it around. They just got swept by the Mets. Guardians sit here at 4. They need some starting pitching. If they can get starting pitching, they can be a World Series contender. I just can't trust them in the playoffs, a playoff system that is so heavily dependent on starting pitching. I can't trust them to make a deep run. They're sitting here at 4, but they're a really, really good team. Dodgers at 3, they get their starters back finally. Clayton Kershaw makes his season debut yesterday. Tyler Glasnow comes back from injury just a couple of days ago. They are back. Shohei Ohtani. There's no other person to describe to compare him to. He is incredible. The Dodgers sit here at 3, down a spot from 2. Same thing with the Orioles. They drop a spot just so the Phillies can get back to number 1. But the Orioles have been really, really right. They make a trade for a starter, a big need of theirs. Really the last big need. They do trade away outfielder. Maybe that makes room for some of their really talented bats to come up from the minors. Maybe. We'll have to see there. But the Phillies have the number 1 spot. They fix their outfield need, go and get Austin Hayes from the Orioles. This team is stacked. They're the best team in baseball right now. They have all the bats you could possibly need. An MVP candidate, Cy Young candidates. There are almost no weaknesses other than the back end of the bullpen now that they've given up Sir Anthony Dominguez. But that is something that I believe they can fix as the trade deadline continues. We'll have to see what happens, but these are my MLB power rankings. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this. I appreciate every single one of you for sticking around, talking sports with me all day today. I really do appreciate it. I hope everybody has a great weekend, had a great week. We'll be back here on Monday talking Olympics, talking MLB trade deadline, talking new NFL division preview. All of that and more. You've been listening to Sports by GSMC Podcast Network. I've been your host, Jeremy Lapidus. I will see you same time, same place on Monday. Have a good one. Bye-bye.